Hello everyone. So I have come with the second part of communication process. In the first part I have discussed the meaning, definition and the elements of communication. If you all have not seen the second part, please go and check the second part of this video. First part of this video, that is communication process. And in this second part I am going to discuss the types of communication. So types of communication, there is not only one classification. There are various classifications are there that I am going to discuss one by one here. Based on different criteria, communication is differently classified. So let's see what are those classification. So types of communication. Number one, based on expression. So based on expression, the communication can be classified as number one, verbal. Verbal is again classified as oral and written, and also non-verbal. So based on expression, it is classified as verbal, non-verbal, and verbal is again classified as oral and written. So I will discuss this one by one. After completion of the whole types, I will discuss one after another. Then based on flow, it can be classified as downward, upward and horizontal. Based on relationship, it is classified as formal, informal, and next is based on communication. Level of communication, it is classified as intrapersonal, interpersonal, small group communication and mass communication. And lastly, based on the pattern of communication, it is discussed as one-way, two-way, one-to-one, one-to-many, and many-to-one. So these are the basic classification. Let's review once again. So from the basis of expression, it is verbal and non-verbal. Verbal can be again classified as oral and written. Based on flow, it is downward, upward, and horizontal. Based on relationship, it is formal, informal. Based on the level of communication, it is interpersonal, small group communication, and mass communication. And based on the pattern of communication, it is one-way, two-way, one-to-one, and one-to-many, and many-to-one communication. So we'll go through one by one. So on the basis of expression, hope you have remember, on the basis of expression, the communication can be classified. The first is verbal communication. So what is verbal communication? So verbal communication is the communication where we use written words or spoken words. So something has to be written words or some spoken words. So it depends on some language. It also can be divided as oral. That means when we use directly the written word, that I am doing it now, that is oral communication. And also it can be written in the form of writing a letter or typing. So it can be, both can be written. So verbal communication can be oral or verbal communication can be written. And second is non-verbal communication. So non-verbal communication, it does not use any written or oral language. On the other hand, it uses some unspoken events, it uses some gesture, it uses some posture, it uses some body language, it uses the use of touch, appearance. All these are non-verbal communication. Like you can see in the picture, I have shown a girl is showing so many expression. If we are angry at someone, it only our expression can speak. If we are sad, our facial expression can speak. If our, like for example, we are happy, that time also our facial expression is enough to express. Even nowadays we have various emojis in the mobile to express our non-verbal thing. Like we don't need to express anything. Our emoji, like we are angry, emoji of anger, we are laughing, like that. Like again, non-verbal communication can be, you have seen the street lights, green, yellow, red street lights are there. So if the police is not there in the traffic point also, that time also, if you have seen a red light, that means it already a communication, non-verbal communication to you that you have to stop. So these are the non-verbal communication. So in a simple way, verbal communication, it is the use of some written or oral words or language. Whereas non-verbal communication, you don't use any language. It use your body posture, your facial expression, then appearance, your gesture. All this comes under non-verbal communication. On the basis of flow, so it may be downward communication. So as the name itself is saying, and there is a diagram downward. So downward is the condition where the communication that takes place from top to bottom. Downward, top to bottom. So top, who is at the top? Usually our superiors, our seniors, they are at the top. So whenever our superiors, our seniors, our boss, they give some direction, that is a downward communication. So what the boss can give? Boss can give us a notice, boss can give us an order. So that becomes a downward communication. If a principal give a notice to the students, that means a downward communication. The second is upward communication, as it's you have seen the image. So here the communication goes from the subordinate to superior, junior to senior, okay, the employee to boss. So what an employee can give? Employee can give some application, employee can give some suggestions, can give some feedback. So these are the upward communication. If a student wants a leave, she or he will write an application letter, no leave application, or the employee can write a leave applications to the higher authority, to the like boss or the like principal. So those are the upward communication. Next comes the horizontal. Horizontal means at the same level, when the communication takes place between the group of people as well in the same hierarchy. There can be communication between same hierarchical colleagues, communication between the two group leaders. When it takes place, that is the horizontal communication. So in a simple way, downward communication that comes from top to bottom, that is from boss to employee, from senior to junior, whereas the upward communication from bottom to top, that is from employee to boss, from subordinate to superior, like that, and the horizontal communication which is at the same rank employee. Now on the basis of relationship, we have two types of communication. One is formal, one is informal communication. So what is formal, what is informal? Now the name itself is saying when the relationship exists in a formal organization with some formal rules and regulation are formal communication. So like in the office or in an institution where there are rules and regulations are strict, you have to say, may I come in, sir? All these are the formal communication. Whereas informal communication that takes place within your family, within the friend circle, where there is no such strict rules, regulations are there. So those are the informal communication. So formal communication and informal communication. And you have to remember that informal communication, it is the high speed data transfer, we can say, is because it is also known as rumor, which spread very easily. So formal communication always go through some proper channel, and it has to be some written form. Maximum, if possible, it should be in a written form, like suppose your boss is giving some order, that it should be written, it is better. If you are giving informal communication, then there is a chance that it will be distorted, and it is also known as rumor, which is the most common term of informal communication, is the rumor. And this communication system will go in a very fastest way. Usually the more than the formal communication, the informal communication goes in a fastest way. So that's why I have kept this picture. This is the informal communication, but yeah, the gossips and all, everything goes very faster than the important things. So that's why informal communication is like a rumor, and it goes faster than the formal communication. But important thing is that for serious communication, always select the formal communication, because informal communication can be distorted, it can be modified, it can be tempered. Now on the basis of level of communication, number one is intrapersonal. So intra, I-N-T-R-A, it's intra means within. Intrapersonal means communication takes place within a person. So what a person can talk with himself or herself. So this happens sometime, no? It is also known as self-talk. Sometimes we think within ourselves, like should I do this, or should not, should I take this or should not, should I buy this or not, should I eat or not. So like that type of communication that takes place within ourselves, and that is the interpersonal communication. In various decisions we talk with ourselves, and that is the self talk. Then second type is interpersonal communication. INTER, inter, that is between. Between two or more person when the communication takes place. Like you can see in the emoji, two persons are fighting. That is the interpersonal communication. Of course, not only fighting, sometimes we can talk, we can share some of the things between two friends. There can be then between teacher and student, sharing of information. All these are interpersonal communication between two or more person. Then third category is small group communication. As you can see in the picture, here a group of students, maybe a group of colleagues, maybe we discuss on some important matter. So those are small group communication. Even sometimes a group of nurses may sit together to discuss regarding a nursing care of a patient. That becomes a small group communication. And lastly, the mass communication. As the name itself is saying mass, that means you have to communicate to a larger group of people. So it is not just a one person, 2%, 5%, 10%, but it's a larger group, a large community, maybe a state, maybe a society. So that time we need some mass communication devices like television, newspaper, radio. So that communication is only possible through mass medias like television, radio, newspaper, etc. So based on the level of communication, we have four types: intrapersonal, that is within the person talk; interpersonal, communication between two or more person; small group communication, that takes place within small group of people; and mass communication, when it takes place with a large group of people. Now, based on the pattern of communication. So number one is one-way communication. So one-way communication, that means only sender is giving the information. There is no communication from the side of the, there is no chance of communication from the side of the receiver. So like for example here, a reporter is saying something and we can see in the television. So whatever reporter is saying, we are listening. There is a no way to question reporter in the television. We cannot ask anything in the television. If we ask also, television cannot give us the reply. So that is the one-way communication. Second type is two-way communication. So as the name itself is saying, two-way means both sender and the receiver will communicate. So like here another image you have seen, the reporter is asking some question to the other person and other person is replying. That becomes a two-way communication. Even communication between two persons, between a doctor and a patient, nurse and a patient, teacher and a student, all these are maximum communications are two-way communications. So one-to-one communication. So in the one-to-one communication is that here sender is also one and the receiver is also one. So maybe a nurse is giving health education to a patient, or she is talking to the patient, asking what is the health condition of the patient, or a teacher is asking the student. So these are the one-to-one condition of communication. And one-to-many. So one to maybe a teacher is taking a class. That is one to many example. And many to one. Now, when many to ones means senders are many, whereas the receiver is only one. So where it is possible? So it is possible, suppose there is a panel of expert who is taking an interview of a person. Suppose there is a person who is giving interview in front so many experts. So that time so many experts will ask question to that person in that who is coming for the interview. So that becomes many to one communication. Also, sometimes it happens that we can see that so many reporters are asking questions to one person in the televisions and all. So that becomes also many to one communication. So first is one-way communication. That is only one-sided communication, maybe in the television like that. Next is two-way communication, where sender and receiver both are communicating. Third is one-to-one communication, when sender is giving information to the receiver and receiver is also taking the information. One to many, where the communication is from one side to many persons, like a teacher is one and he is taking the class for many students, and many to one, where so many persons are giving information or asking or sharing information to only one person. Like in interview sessions, so many panelists are there, experts are there in the interview board, and those experts, they will ask question only one particular person, so that is many to one. So these are the types of communication. So hope you have understood it. And if you like it, then please like it, share it, and subscribe it. And also, any topic or any confusion or any doubt, you can write it on the comment section.